We're going book shopping today, but we're also going to meet Kennedy Ryan and Tia Williams at my first book signing ever, so make sure you subscribe because there's new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and I hope you guys enjoy. Today is my Super Bowl. Like, it's literally my Super Bowl, and it's because I'm going to meet Kennedy Ryan today after I go to this bookstore. I cannot wait. Also, I'm going to meet Tia Williams. Oh my gosh. Literally loved reading 7 Days in June, loved reading Before I Let Go, loved reading This Could Be Us. I cannot wait to meet them. I'm very nervous, like very nervous. I'm actually outside of the Barnes that Alex and I normally go to together, and she's supposed to come tonight, but she ended up not being able to come last minute, which was fine. But I'm going to this event, like this book signing, by myself, and I literally can feel my heart in my throat. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I feel my heart in my throat. Like, I never really get nervous. Like, all of you guys are like, oh, like I'll make like little funny videos and stuff in Barnes and like all that stuff. You guys are like, oh my god, I would be so nervous if I did that, or I'd be nervous if I vlogged in person. Like, I don't really get nervous about that. What I do get nervous about is meeting you guys. And I think it's because, like, I just want you guys to see me for who I am, which I feel I get across really well on camera. Like, because obviously I'm the one editing it, you know? So like, I'm like sharing the pieces of my life that I feel like are so me. But I just like, I want like you guys to like love me and like want to hang around with me, and like, I don't know. So like, I know some of you guys are going to be there tonight. Some of you guys have like DM'd me and said that you're going to be there, which is so cool. But part of me is like, what if they think I'm annoying? Like, what if they don't like me? Like, what if? So I'm going to try not to think about that while I'm here in Barnes. I'm going to go in. I hope Sister Christy's here. I don't know if she's going to be here or not. I didn't ask because I actually won't be able to be here like as long as I would want, because I have to drive into St. Louis, which is like 30 minutes away from here. I'm in Fairview Heights. So yeah, if you guys ever want to go see Sister Christy, you guys can definitely come to this Barnes. Like, she works here. I just don't know when she works. She does work Saturdays. I know that. So yeah, let's go inside, see what we can find in here. I love coming to this bookstore because I feel like they have a better selection, like with newer books and with indie books than my bookstore does, which I think is due because like Sister Christy, she freaking pulls in the good books. So let's go in, see what we can find, and then I'll hopefully show you guys what I found, and then we'll head to the event. I love that this book is literally front and center. Like, I went to Target and I went to Walmart and this was not there. And then in my Barnes & Noble, they also didn't have this book like front and center. It was like, I think it was like towards the back of the like romance section, like in where Kennedy Ryan's books are. But like, no, she needs her own table. She literally needs to be right up front. Another book I really like that I'm surprised is up front, because I think I'm surprised more just because I haven't seen like a lot of people talk about it, but it's the Frenemy Fix Up. Oh, not me dropping books, oh my gosh. This book right here was really cute, and I feel like it was more realistic to how like an actual situationship is. Some people I feel like were like, oh, I wish it had like a little bit more like of a fluffy like romance because the cover looks fluffy. But to me, I'm like, it was real. Like, they had some miscommunication, they were like messing around, and neither of them knew what was going on. And so I don't know, I really enjoyed that. I feel like normally I don't, but I did enjoy it in that one. I kind of want to go straight to the romance first. Guys, this book, oh my gosh, I still haven't read this yet. One of you guys actually said I need to read this because it's so good, but I haven't read it yet, and I kind of feel like bad that I'm going to this book signing and haven't read her newest book yet, but I didn't want to like have it and then just like read it super fast. Like, I wanted to take my time because this is one of my most anticipated reads, and it'll be kind of nice to read the one that she actually signs. And that one is like front and center in the fiction section, which is really cool. Also love that Frida has her own table now. I didn't realize that they redid the inmate cover. Like, it looks so different than the other one that I actually bought like a while back. Some of these actually look different. Like, this size almost looks smaller than, like, it looks, what the heck? Did they resize these? Oh my god, I think they did. I'm literally about to drop off another book. They resized these, look. The Housemaid's Secret is the exact same size as Never Lie, and before the Housemaid's Secret was like the traditional size, but they made it like smaller to match all the other sizes of her book. I actually kind of like that idea because it's so annoying when you buy a book and it's like not the same size as other books. Like, I don't know what it is about it. I just like don't like that. I don't know if I want to go to the thriller section. I think I'm gonna go straight to the romance because that's what we're here for. Guys, I was just talking about this book in one of my other vlogs. Actually, I think that vlog doesn't go up till Saturday, so maybe you haven't seen it, but my husband watched this movie and literally had no idea what was happening. Now it has its own table. Sometimes I also feel like how do these books get tables? Like, how did Dune get a table over Kennedy Ryan? You know, like, I don't understand. The section! The best section. I feel like she does such a good job with like sourcing all the books back here and stuff. I don't know if she's like working today or not, but we're gonna go over to my little fluffy section. I love coming over here to see what she has because I feel like she just picks literally the best books. I did end up reading Butcher and Blackbird, which was one of her recommendations from the last time that I was here. The romance in it was really good. Like, I feel like her recommendations are incredible. The romance in this was really good. It was a little too much spice, but it was one of the books that I wanted to read to get out of my comfort zone. So this definitely did that for sure. Oh my gosh, there's so many books here I haven't even seen before. Sometimes you have to run away to find yourself. Reeling from the sudden loss of her older sister, her only family, Addie Mae flees Los Angeles without a plan or destination and ends up in Georgetown, Texas. Lost and alone, she's taken in by some local ranchers, and there she meets farmhand Zach Ryan, why do I start smiling? Like, I'm literally giggling. I don't even know what this book's about. Who starts to cut through the grief and pain and show Addie that she has something to live for. This is like a small town romance. That looks cute. I love a small town romance. I've never read anything from this author. It says she's a Wattpad hit author, which I kind of like Wattpad books. I feel like a lot of people are kind of like hit or miss with those. Like, they're not obsessed with them, but I really like them. Also, I feel like I've been really liking picking up books that are more, I don't know, people don't talk about. Like this one right here, Fish Out of Water. It's by Katie Ruggles. It says, sometimes you have to let nature take its course. When Dahlia Weathersby's sister disappears on what should have been a simple day hike, Dahlia immediately heads deep into the Rockies to find her. I'm gonna put this here because my arm is literally hurting so bad. Knowing she'll never survive the mountains alone, she convinces the local hermit, adorably grouchy survival expert Winston Dane, to be her guide. All it takes is a good helping of Dahlia's charm and just the teensiest bit of blackmail. Not blackmail, before she's got all 6 foot something of him wrapped around her finger. But even with her very own mountain man in tow, things aren't going to be easy. There are long hikes through gorgeous wilderness, check. Bears, check. A single shared sleeping bag. Sleeping bag. I love the one bed trope. Like, I don't know what it is. I feel like I eat that up every time. Anytime that like they have to like sleep together, or the other trope that I love is if they have to like share bed, and if like she's sick or something, they don't have to, like, that doesn't have to happen at the same time. Like, I don't want them sharing a bed when she's sick. Like, I feel like that would be gross, but I love that trope. And enough sparks to set the Rockies ablaze. Check, check, check. With everything the wilderness has thrown at them, it'll take more than charm and some city girl ingenuity to make this trek anything but a disaster waiting to happen, an adventure she'll never forget. This looks so cute. I've never heard of this author. On the front it says, why date a mountain man? Because he knows how to pitch a tent. I feel like this is gonna be spicy and cute. Like, should I bring this home, guys? Welcome to Yodel Inn, where there are no dull moments. Another thing about me though, I like finding books that a lot of people don't talk about, but I also get nervous reading them, and I feel like I check Goodreads too much to see like what people's recommendations are, like whether they recommend it or not, especially you guys. Like, I feel like I really trust you guys, but also sometimes I need to just like jump in blind, just like pick up a book, and like if I'm vibing with the back of it, I just need to pick it up and just read it. Like, when I was a kid, I kid you not, like, and you guys probably did too, like, I would go to the library and just like, oh, person literally being behind me, like on the floor, I would go to the library, like, my parents would drop me off, I'd be there for hours. Well, they wouldn't drop me off, they were still there. They would be there in another area, and I would just be like, do my own thing, and I would literally go up, pick up a book, usually based off the cover, read the back. I'm like, oh, is it good? Perfect. Bringing it home. Like, sometimes I wouldn't even read the back. I just like pick up the book because of the cover. I want to get back to that. Like, let's do that. Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only person who like just wants to start doing that. But I think that that would be a more fun way of like reading if we're just not like focusing on everybody else's thoughts. Okay, you guys told me I need to read the Addicted series if I really liked Binding 13. And I loved Binding 13, loved it. When I was hanging out with Taylor the other night, we were talking about how obsessed we are with it. And this is the thing, I have been getting all of my friends into reading, and these are people who don't normally read. Like, these are people who, like, she's read in the past, like, she read, what'd she read? She read, like, Daisy Jones and the Six. She really loved that, and that was like, I want to say like 2 years ago, and she like has kind of picked up things but hasn't like really gotten through them. Like, we read Buddy read Flawless together, but I don't even know if she finished it, because honestly, you guys know I didn't really care for that book. Loved the writing, like I feel like it was easy to read, but like literally one point in the book, like she walks past him, he's like, ooh, my dick jumped. Like, come on, like, you're a grown man, like, just like, I hated that. So anyway, we were talking about like, you know, books and stuff, and I recommended Binding 13 to her after she finished Daisy Hates, and literally 2 days, she finished Binding 13 in like 2 days, and then she picked up the next book, which is, what is it, Keeping 13, I think? I'm not really sure what the second one is, or it's Saving 6, is that the third one? Either way, she picked up the second book in the series, finished that book, or no, didn't finish the book. She only has 200 pages left, and this is a 600 page book, both of them. Only 200 pages left, and she has only been reading it for like a day and a half. Wild. So I feel like I've been getting a big head because I'm like, I'm putting people on. Like, they're just gobbling up books. Like, they're just like these little book monsters. And I feel like you guys give good recs to me, so then I read them and I can give good recs to other people, and then just the world continues to turn. But I read Binding 13, loved it. And you guys said that if I like that I should pick up the Addicted series. Now, I think part of the reason why I get nervous about picking up that series is because it's so freaking long. Like, even looking at this, like, look, Addicted for Now, Fuel the Fire, Long Way Down, Addicted for All, and then they have like the books, I think, with like their kids or something. Like, I don't really know much about the series at all, but like, this is not the first book. Like, there's so many books in the series, and I feel like sometimes I almost get intimidated when there's so many books, because there's so many books I want to read, and I just know if it's like a long series, like, will I ever finish it? I don't know. Now, there are some series like the Magnolia Park series that I literally just eat up. Like, I could just start that in one weekend and finish the whole series because it's like that good. And so maybe the Addicted series will be that for me, but then also I feel like sometimes it's like series are overhyped. So let me know if you guys think that it's actually like worth reading. Speaking of worth reading, I feel like I'm jumping from book to book to book. There are barely any of these left. There's only 2 copies of this left, and I can't tell if it's because this book is actually good or because people have heard that this book is crazy and they want to be a part of like the wild mess. I don't know. Comment below if you guys think that book is any good. Also, other books that I'm seeing that I've never seen before. I See London, that's 2 books. Okay, Shaughnessy. I See London, and this one says it is an international school series. It's an addictive slow burn set against the grit and glamour of London. Okay, can we just talk about how, to me, London and like the UK, that's just a Hastings era. Like, leave it alone. Like, I mean, maybe that author even lives in the UK, but like, to me, that is where Magnolia lives. Like, they just can't inhabit that world, because that to me is like I'll be thinking about like BJ and Magnolia as I'm reading like that book. Also, speaking of that book, I love this book. I was talking to Taylor about this, and I bought her like all of the copies of the like, what's it called, original covers, and she was like so happy, and she was saying she saw a special edition of this cover, and I kind of want it. She said it had sprayed pink edges. I've never seen that anywhere, but now I want it. Speaking of want it, I feel like these little bookend areas always make me want to grab a book off of it, because when there's less books in an area, I feel like it's easier for me to pick, versus when there's like all of these, it's like fun, obviously, like browsing, but I'm like, where do I even start, you know? So if you are new to like reading and bookstores and stuff and you don't know where to start, I feel like when I come into a bookstore, I always start at the tables first, because these are like the super popular stuff, and then I branch off into like the other like books that are like on the shelves. Speaking of books, I just keep hopping from one thing to one thing to one thing. This video is giving chaotic and I kind of love it, but like I'm just like trying to see all the books and do all the things, and just like, I don't know. This is, sometimes I feel like the bookstore is like my home, like my second home. Does anyone else feel like that? Like when you go to the bookstore or the library, like I can just take a deep breath and like smell the books and like just think about all the stories. That probably just feels like weird, but you guys understand because you guys are like bookish people. I think I'm gonna go over to the dark romance section because I think I know what I'm gonna get from this section. I'm not gonna show you guys until I like get outside. I'll show you guys like my haul. I feel like I'm seeing so many books that I don't ever see. Like this book, Kilt Trip by Alexandria Kiley. It's a deeply romantic and breathtaking book. I've never heard of this. Like, that's why I love coming to this specific bookstore and this specific Barnes. I do feel like every Barnes is like different, and whoever like shelves the books at each Barnes, I feel like they almost pick what they think that people will enjoy. So that really just depends on like what books that they like, or at least that's how I feel. Like I could be totally off, like I know nothing about like shelving books at Barnes, but that's just kind of the vibe that I get. I feel like, oh my gosh, look at this one. I've never seen this before. Last Call at the Local. Opposites attract with a free-spirited American singer-songwriter with ADHD teams up with a charming Irishman to revitalize his family's pub. Not me crying, just literally over the cover. That is so cute. All of these books look so cute. I actually have this one right here, and I think I bought it from an indie bookstore, but it looks really cute. I haven't read it yet, but it says tutoring the star quarterback in exchange for a few fake dates won't lead to anything more, right? And then this one right here, I just keep picking up every book because I want you guys to see all of them. The Breakup Vacation, I feel like this looks so perfect for summer. How far would you go to win back an ex? If Grace is being honest, she knows her recent choices skate past questionable and probably into destructive, but her heart is broken, and the guy who broke it, her ex, Josh, of course he's a J name, keeps hinting at a reunion. That looks really cute, actually. Like I kind of want to see, like I always look at the pages. Ooh, the words are really big. Like, see how big those words are? That, I feel like, always draws me in. Like, and then I also look to see how much dialogue there is on each page. Like, that's a big thing for me. All of these things are, like, things that make me decide whether I want to get a book or whether I want to leave a book. And I've been trying to be very intentional about what I actually bring home versus, like, what I, like, leave here, because I am so many books at home. It's like actually unreal. It's a problem. But I literally read like how many books did I read last like 19 books last month. So I mean, I feel like the amount I buy is in like, I don't know, it's a good amount in comparison to like what I read. Like if I was only reading like one book every month or something, it's like I should probably like chill on like what I am buying. But guys, my babies, I always have to say hi to the books that I love. Do you guys ever do that at the bookstore? Like if you're walking around and you just like see the books that you love, I always have to just like give them a little heart, like love you guys. I also feel like this dark romance section is not the place. Well, I guess it's not like all dark romance, but like I feel like it just gives that vibe, you know, it's like all like darker colors and stuff. I feel like that just goes to me over in like the fluffy section. Speaking of dark romance, okay, can we talk about this? So my niece, she texted me. I was actually gonna tell you guys in the car. I didn't end up telling you in the car because I like literally forgot. But she texted me and she sent me a screen grab, and it was a screen grab of this book. And it said when she was 5 years old, she told her dad's best friend she was going to marry him someday, which is literally like, that's what this book is like about. And then my niece, she goes, are book talk authors okay? And I said, oh my God, I was just talking about that book. I saw it in Barnes and I was like, what is going on? She's like, we have to start giving psych evaluations before people can publish books. She said we have to bring back shame. She is so funny. Like, I need to bring my niece with me book shopping sometimes. She's literally hilarious. And I was like, I feel like authors are trying to create new plots people haven't read, but I think they should at least start with plots that are illegal. She goes, seriously, that's not asking too much. You can still have angst and pining between consenting adults. But like, no, actually, like, this is about a girl. I feel like I pick this book up every time I come into Barnes, but I think it's because it's so wild to me. The girl, she like meets her dad's best friend when she's 5, and she like falls in love with him, I guess, at that age or something, and then like he has feelings for her, and then she like turns 18 and they like get together. Like like, no, absolutely not. I did pick this book up though because the cover looks fluffy, it looks cute, it says torn, it's got like, it says the heart wants what the heart wants, it says it's angsty, but, and this is it is, Penelope Douglas, their quote is on the front. It says the angst was incredible, and y'all know Penelope Douglas, she be throwing cousins and stuff together, so I don't know, like, this book is gonna stay on the shelf. I cannot bring this one home, sorry. I do think sometimes I just read books like literally for the plot. Like, I'll read them and I feel like I probably won't like them, but I just like want to try them out just to see like maybe they'd be enjoyable to me. Usually I feel like I know myself pretty well though, and like I can figure out like what's for me and what's not. I do think I have a hard time picking out thrillers though, because I don't know, I feel like thrillers, like I like them to be fast paced, but I also like them to have a very in-depth story where I'm gonna be like hooked the entire time. So I feel like I almost always like stick to my tried and true authors. Like, I really like Riley Sager's writing. You guys know I also really like who's the other author's writing? Frida McFadden, obviously. There's just like certain thriller authors that I feel like I really stick to. And guys, okay, so this is so funny. So the housemaid is this a regular size or a small size? I can't tell. Let me see. Okay, so I think the housemaid is like still a regular size. Look at that. And I think that the coworker is like smaller, but I guess all the other ones are now small. That's so interesting why they did that. But yeah, anyway, I feel like I just stick to a lot of the same thriller authors that I love. But this year is like the year where I feel like I've been trying to like branch out, like reading literary fiction and like reading contemporary fiction, reading, obviously you guys know I love romance, so like I do read a lot of that, but I want to just like read more books. But I also feel like I know myself really well, so a lot of the time the stuff that I pick up, it's like I know that I'm not going to probably like it. It's very rare that I am super surprised like by literally anything. This book right here, someone actually recommended this to me and they said it was like a 5-star thriller for them, and I own it and I have not read it yet. Why, you ask? I actually don't know. I think it's because literally one person told me that they thought this book was slow, and if someone tells me that a book is slow that I own, I feel like I have the hardest time getting into it. Now if someone's like, oh, like, it wasn't really for me, like I feel like I'll still read it, but if they say it's slow, I just have such a hard time like with thrillers being slow. Like, that's like the number one thing that I want in a thriller is like it to be fast paced. I haven't heard of this one though, Before She Knew Him, and it's a guy who is the author of this one. It says it is compelling, creepy, psychologically astute. Don't know what it's about, but sometimes I do like to go into thrillers blind. I will say though, if a book has like words like this, I don't know if you guys can really even see that, like there isn't a ton of dialogue like on each page, you see that? Like, I just don't really like that. Like, Now this page, like this is cool, like that's a good amount of dialogue, but then it goes back to like these big chunks where it's like no dialogue. So I always look for books, because having a lot of dialogue in books is extremely important to me. I feel like it makes the book more interesting. I feel so special that I am like one of the few, like one of the very few who has the original covers of the Chestnut Spring series. Like they are so expensive now. Like if you go to try to buy like the I guess they're not original, because like the original I think had people in the covers, but then she redid them with like the westerny like type of vibe. I have that like those covers, and they're so expensive if you try to buy them now, but I bought them all at once, which is actually very rare for me. Didn't like Flawless, like literally didn't like the first book, so I'm like, cool, I have like the entire series and don't like this first book. But it wasn't that I didn't like the writing. I loved the writing. I didn't like Rhett. So I feel like, I'm crossing my fingers because I literally bought the whole series, I feel like I could get into the rest of the books. And I have heard that Reckless is like a really good one. It has like a touch my wife and like, not you die, but like a I'll hurt you kind of vibe, I think. And like I love how much dialogue these books have. They're floppy. I also love how they have like just like a really funny banter in a lot of them. I don't know, I'm hoping that I will really like that series. I will say, like, you guys know I just did like a like Amazon shopping, well not shopping, I'm trying to get this back in here with one hand. I just did an Amazon like haul with like books from Amazon, and I feel like the reason why I shop and buy books on Amazon so much and so frequently is because you cannot find those books here in the bookstore, which is like sad, but it's because like they just don't really have like a lot of the books by like new authors and stuff, which is like whatever, because obviously they're not like, you know, with a publishing company or anything. But it's hard because I feel like I have been really gravitating towards like urban romance and like just new authors. I want to like hype up the people that like people don't really know about yet, and you just like don't find that here. You do find a lot of the like popular authors like Tessa Bailey. I mean, obviously like love all of the popular authors, but like they're popular for a reason because their books are good. But also I kind of want to see like what else is out there that like hasn't been hyped up yet. So I don't know, that's one thing that I like, a little qualm I have with bookstores. And even in indie bookstores, I feel like I still like, I went to an independent bookstore, I think you guys saw in my last vlog, or one of my last vlogs, whenever Taylor and I were driving out of town, we went to the bookstore and it was closed, and she just like closed it because obviously it's her business and she can do that. But we drove 45 minutes because I don't live near an indie bookstore. I have to drive out of town to go there, and we drove 45 minutes and it was closed. So things like that are just kind of like a bummer. And there's another bookstore I went to somewhere else where we went and she opened like a little bit later than she was like planning on opening, but we had like really short time frame when we could be there, so it was just hard. And yeah, I don't know, so that's the only thing that I feel like is a struggle. And then even sometimes I'll get into those bookstores and like sometimes they'll have a focus more on fantasy or a focus more on like books that I'm not necessarily looking for. I really want someone to open a Black-owned bookstore. Okay, hear me out. A Black-owned bookstore with books that are like all romance themed, because I feel like a lot of Black-owned bookstores have a lot of contemporary fiction and have literary fiction, which is great, but I need someone to have like urban romance. They need to have like the down and dirty stuff that you don't see like anywhere else, like the stuff that you're gonna see on Book Talk. I need it in a store. So someone create that, or if it's already created, comment it below, because I will literally fly anywhere to go to that bookstore because I want that so bad. But yeah, anyway, I don't know, I feel like somebody has to have created it somewhere, right? I did not realize that Say You Swear has a new cover, and I kind of want to get this because I feel like it'll be easier to read than the other one, because the other one is kind of like thick and like, I don't know, harder. I love that they're coming out with all these books that like, I don't know, had other covers and like making them like floppier and literally better. I've heard that this book is so good. Speaking of good, I recently picked up this book by Brittany Cherry. You guys know I read a book by her pretty much every single month because her books are so good. I haven't read this one, but this is in the Element series. It's the first book, and I've heard that this series is one of her best. So I'm really excited to read this one. I feel like I'll probably read that next month. But yeah, anyway, I feel like this cover looks so cute, and it's literally pulling me in. It's making me want to read it.
also a New York Times bestselling author.
How is everybody tonight? Look at this crowd. I know, this is fun. Or a Black Romance was on the adult New York Times list, was almost 3 years ago. Wow. It was June of 2021, and it was Tia. So we thought, how special is it that it happened for me today, and the last time it happened, which is much too long ago, and prayerfully it won't take another 3 years before the next Black author, the next Black romance author is on the New York Times list. How crazy is it that it's me and her today, and she was the last one to do it. Of all the days! Both of us.
Yeah. It was supposed to happen like this.
It was absolutely supposed to happen like this. So Tia, what about your top 3 tour moments?
Okay. So I had a wild moment in Houston. The signing line was so long. First of all, and I said this at the Strand, I was so moved by how many Houston girls were activated by Beyonce's country era. The cowboy hats, the cowboy boots, I loved it. I love representation, I love it. But I looked up in the signing line and there was a woman whose hair was the exact same color as my cover. And when I say that, I mean there are several colors in this cover. So her hair was blue, it was teal and purple, and it had some yellow in it, and it was ombre, and it was gorgeous. And I was like, did you know your hair matches my cover? And she was like, yeah.
That's kind of the point.
I was like, what? She's a hairstylist, so she was like, yeah, I felt like I had to come, showing how much I love this book. And since I am, in fact, a hair colorist, I went in. And I was like, is it permanent?
My friends was like, have you ever watched Zeus? And I was like, what's Zeus? And she put it on. I was like, what is this? Did that little sweetie just have a wardrobe change for a fight? She was like, yes, she did. She did. She literally changed clothes in the middle of a fight. But I was like, there's something different that I want to demonstrate as far as women's friendships. And a big part of it is what I saw modeled as I was growing up and how healthy it was.
Okay, Tia, this one's for you. What attributes of Ricky came from yourself or someone you know? What do you admire most about her?
So Ricky is the first character that I've ever written that has nothing in common with me, and it was on purpose. I wanted to get into this idea of Black excellence. What is it? Who decides what it is? And the whole idea of hashtag Black excellence happened because for so long it's been assumed that we don't have any. So it was something to call out, which is a good thing, but at the same time it can be very limiting. And this new generation is kind of, resisting the lure of that and defining what excellence means on their own terms. So instead of it being, doctor, lawyer, make a lot of money, finance, it's go where your heart takes you and go with what you're passionate about. And a lot of times in Black and brown communities, what do you mean you want to dance? Like, what do you mean, you want to go into floral design like Ricky? And like I said, she has these older sisters that are very by the book. They have the McMansions and they went to the Ivy League and their kids all dress the same. They have the same art on the walls. And I come from that generation of there's only one kind of way to be successful and anything else is, a little too wild. And so I've always been jealous of the kinds of women that are just like, well, I'm not doing that. Or, yeah, I got a C. And, what? I had a girlfriend who just never turned in her homework. And I was sincerely worried about her future. Like, do you want me to go with you to meet with the guidance counselor? Like, what are we gonna do? What's the plan? But that freedom, and you know, we grew up with Denise Huxtable, who was just this like wildflower who, you know, in a very high achieving family, she was like, well, college, I'm going to Africa. And I'm going to wear vintage clothes and kind of do what I, you know, go where my heart takes me. And I've always been jealous of those women that can do that. And it also gets into a little bit, what do you call it? Birth order stuff. Because I'm the oldest of 3 girls. And as the oldest daughter, you feel like first of all, you have the weight of the world on you, and you have to make an example, and you have to model, you know, what making your way through the world looks like for, you know, the ragamuffins that come after you. And sometimes older sisters, oldest daughters, can feel like, okay, I paved the way, and now you get to do whatever you want. And so I wanted to get in that too with, like, you know, Ricky and her big sisters. So yeah, she's not like me.
I really enjoyed watching you all have a guttural reaction to not turning in homework or getting a C. There's a real clear division in the audience, and we respect both sides of that. This is for both of you, and it, as a warning, is our final question, and I'm really sorry to have to break that news. How do you unstuck yourself when you're in a creative rut?
Guys, that was one of the best, like, I mean, granted, I've never been to a book signing before, like literally ever, but it was one of the best little like chats. Like, it made me so excited to go to like more book signings, and maybe I'm like more, I'm just getting like a really good experience here, and they're all not gonna be like that. That was so good. I'll like talk about it more later, but like it's kind of loud out there. And obviously like I'm in a bathroom, so it's kind of like echoey, so it might sound like loud in here, but that was so freaking good. I could cry, like I could literally cry from nothing. Like it was just like such a good experience. So anyway, I'm gonna go back out there. I still have to like, or get to meet them. I am actually shook. Like, I could cry. I could actually cry sitting here right now. Like, in a good way. I have met so many of you guys tonight, and I think like just putting like a face with the names, like I message you guys all the time, and sometimes it's like I know I have all these like friends in real life because you guys obviously are on the internet, but like you're real people. But until I meet you, like I don't realize like how similar all of us are. Like we're all just book girlies who just love romance and love love and love diverse reads and love, like, I don't know, it just, my heart feels so warm, like, and this is also making me want to do a meetup so bad because I met so many of you tonight. I think more than like any other place that I've been to, and like I think it's just because like we love Candy Ryan and we love Tia Williams, so obviously like I could literally cry. And it's crazy because I think like I'm getting so emotional because I remember in high school like having a hard time having friends, and I remember in college having a hard time making friends, and like now there's so many of us. Y'all, my throat is literally getting tight. There's so many of us like who love the same things, and like so many of you guys are so sweet and like the types of friends that I always wish that I had, and I just feel so grateful, like so grateful. And along with that, not only like has it been cool like meeting you guys, but sitting down and hearing from these 2 authors, I feel has been such an incredible experience, and it's actually making me want to go to like more book signings. But I do think that like, so there's a book conference that's like in it's like a romance book conference that I think is in California, that's this year, and I thought about going to that, but then I was just like, is it gonna give the feel that this event gives? Like you walk in, it's like all Black women mostly, and then like sprinkled in of like other people who love diverse reads, and like so you're just seeing people who, if they aren't of like the culture, they like support and love and like are like true friends of like, I don't know, diverse reads. And I don't know if I would get that if I just go to like a just blanket like romance like book signing where it's like a bunch of authors. I want to like look up and see if there's like one for like Black authors specifically. I feel like that would be super cool. Comment below if there is one, if you guys know of like a Black romance author or book signing where there's like multiple authors in like one place. I think that would be so cool. And I love supporting all authors, like don't get me wrong, but I feel like there's something special about reading and hearing yourself written in a way that like is so beautiful. Like one of the things Kennedy Ryan was talking about, she was saying how, or maybe it was Tia Williams, I can't remember, but they were saying how they like to write men who have like went to therapy or who are going to therapy or who have like grown and are like working through things. And I think that that is like incredible because you don't see that. Like a lot of the time you see in movies or just like people talk as if like Black men or Black women like are not, you know, I don't know, like are not as good as like other people. And I feel like it's so beautiful to see characters written in a way that like really celebrates them. And I don't know, I just want more of that this year. More book signings that I can go like to and more authors that I can meet. I haven't read this book, but well, obviously you guys know I read this book. 5 stars, obsessed with it. I picked up Alex's copy too, and I'm gonna get it signed for her since she couldn't come tonight. But absolutely love this. I think the thing that I love most about this is it has a representation of like disability, also solo dating. Like Soledad literally goes on solo dates and learns to love herself and learns to love being by herself, which I've never read in a romance book, literally ever. I feel like romance is usually like you find the guy, you cling to the guy, like that kind of thing, and this was not that. Like she learned to stand on her own 2 feet. Also, I didn't read this book, but so many people have talked about how incredible this book was tonight. Like so many of you came up to me, and like one of you guys came up to me and you said that you read this book and literally were sobbing like in the middle of what's it called, like Sam's Club or something. And another friendship came up. You said that you read this and you couldn't stop like crying because it was such a beautiful depiction of like love, and like the conversations in the book are like so good. And I don't know, I love Tia Williams' writing. I feel like you have to go into her writing knowing that, like, her writing almost reads like contemporary fiction. Like, I feel like I always recommend 7 Days in June for people who don't normally read romance, but, like, kind of want to get into it because she's heavy on the romance, but she's very heavy on, like, other things. And, like, 7 Days in June was, like, heavy on the healing. And I feel like this is going to be heavy on the romance, but also heavy on, like, other things. And her writing is so lyrical, and, like, her books feel like classics. And so these 2 authors that are incredible authors that literally are like, I mean, just amazing. It was so cool to hear from both of them. It was really interesting though. They were saying how much they have to go through as authors, and like obviously we see front facing, like this book actually hit the New York Times bestseller list today. And so they were like, we were all like excited about that. And she was saying, she was like, yeah, you know, obviously like that's exciting, but at the same time that this was hitting, like I'm thinking about how I am the first Black author in romance to get on the bestseller list in like the last 3 years, which is wild. There has not been a Black author to get on the New York Times bestseller list for romance in 3 years. You know how long that list is? And the last Black author to get on the New York Times bestseller list for romance was literally Tia Williams when she wrote 7 Days in June. So like that was the last author. And so they're like, I hope it doesn't take another 3 years. So anyway, I just thought that that was cool, that happened today, like of all days. And another thing that they were talking about that like really hit home for me was how much like information they had to do to create these books. Like Kennedy Ryan, she was saying that one of her editor, the person with autism, and she wanted to edit this book and give like feedback to like protect the integrity of like her culture and like make sure that Kennedy Ryan is sharing in a way that is going to celebrate her and like other people who also live like a similar life to hers or who don't live similar lives to her. It just like, I just think that that is so cool, and like authors don't do that enough. And Kennedy Ryan, she was saying that a lot of the time she's read books that are about Black people who they don't get like the representation right, and like it just kind of feels like icky. And I'm like, yeah, for sure, like I've definitely had that happen to me before too. So I don't know, I just think that this, like, both of these authors are incredible. I want to give them their flowers. This event was amazing. I was actually kind of hesitant coming. I was like, am I going to be bored? Like, I'm just going to be like listening to people. But it was so inspiring hearing from them. They were also saying like the hardships that they go through as authors. And one of the things they were saying was like, she was like, as I was going on the Today Show, like doing all these cool things, she said how she went to, where'd she go? She said she was getting ready to go literally on the Today Show, and she went to her email and saw that I guess her like publicist said that she had gotten turned down from 9 other bookstores in other countries, and only one of them was like, oh, we'll take a chance on her. Like, we'll take a chance on Kennedy Ryan? Like, huh? But it's because like other people around the world might not like celebrate Black culture or just like Black authors in the same way that like we do. And so I just thought that that was so interesting, because I just had no idea, and like you don't hear like the ins and outs and stuff like that. So it just makes me want to support them even more, read their books even more, because obviously we know they are like head of the game, like top of the game for romance and Black authors, but this just made me just love them so much. So anyway, yeah, hopefully we get to meet them.
Hi everybody, it's Kennedy Ryan. We had a ball tonight.
We're looking a little orange, but that's okay because it is dark. I have a light behind me, light over there, and then I also have the light of my phone on my face. But I wanted to say good night. I wanted to say just thank you for being here and making nights like this special. Like, I don't think that this night would have been as incredible as it was without you guys. Like, meeting all of you guys, just, I want to do like a meetup or something. Like, this is literally making me want to do a meetup, because meeting all of you, and I've met like so many of you guys in person, but usually it's like 1 or 2 of you guys like in a bookstore or something. Meeting so many of you in one space just felt like home. Like, it felt so good. Like, I can't even explain it, like how incredible it feels to have like met you guys. Like, highlight of my night is that, and also meeting like Kennedy Ryan and Tia Williams. Kennedy Ryan is literally like the exact person that she is online. Like, everything about her, like joy, her like just heart, like it shines through like so much. And meeting her was just like so fun. And Tia Williams, like, also so funny. Like, I started reading her book and I'm already like laughing in it, and I'm only a couple pages in, so I'll definitely keep you guys posted on like how I feel about this one. I obviously loved Kennedy Ryan's newest book, but I'm only a few pages in this one. So make sure you're following me on Goodreads if you guys want to get more of my like in-depth thoughts about this, because I will be posting that there as I get through more. But I love you guys. I want to do something where we all meet up. Comment below if you guys want to do like a meetup of some kind. Maybe we could do something in Chicago. Maybe we could do something in Springfield. Maybe we could do something in St. Louis. I don't know. I feel like it would be super fun. Like, imagine all the book besties getting together. Like, I would freak out. I'm just now realizing I never showed you guys the books that I got yesterday, so I want to show those to you guys. But I also want to share, I've gotten farther into this book and I'm really enjoying it. And I've heard mixed reviews about this book, and I genuinely think that a lot of people give mixed reviews. Not everyone, but a lot of people give mixed reviews because they go into a book thinking it's one thing and it ends up not being that thing. So I always like do my research on an author. So like for me, whenever I go into like a Kennedy Ryan book or a book that is written by Tia Williams, I always know there's gonna be like some other heavy theme outside of the romance. I feel like if I went into any of like those authors' books just thinking I was gonna get straight romance and nothing else, I feel like I just wouldn't get everything that I was like expecting, you know what I mean? And I feel like you have to really know the author that you're reading to appreciate their work. So like for me with Frida McFadden, I know when I go into her thrillers, they're gonna be fast paced, they're gonna be quick. They're not gonna be super deep. Like I'm not gonna have any like, you know, deep themes or anything. It's just gonna be quick, fast, to the point, a popcorn thriller, and it is what it is. And like her writing is incredible for that. But some people who want maybe like a more deep or like, I don't want to say well written because they're both well written in their own right, but a different type of writing that has more like descriptions and things, like might love The Silent Patient, or they might love, I don't know, just different authors. So I feel like when you go into authors, definitely know what you're going in for. Also, like when I think about fluffy reads, like whenever I want to get a fluffy read, or Elise Bryant, she is such an incredible author. I feel like her books are so fun, they're fluffy, they're easy, but you could also want a fluffy book with spice. So if I want a fluffy book with spice, I might go for something that Mimi Grace has written, because her books are fluffy, but they also add in a little bit of spice. Like I think that's also why it's important to like take everyone's reviews with a grain of salt, because someone might absolutely hate a book that you love, or vice versa. Like you might love a book that someone else was like, you know what, that just wasn't for me. And that is fine. So don't like knock every book because you've heard mixed reviews about it. Like one book, another book I'm excited to read is, it's the second book after If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. It's called If Only I Had Told Her, I think. And I've heard some mixed reviews on that book as well. But like I'm going into it knowing that any extra little bit of information about those characters I'm excited to read. Now, not to say that that book won't be good, because maybe like it won't be. Like maybe I won't like it, but I feel like you just have to really go into a book knowing what to expect. So whenever you go into Tia Williams' writing, I feel like you really have to expect to get like a very broad picture. And like some people I feel like weren't obsessed with 7 Days in June, and I genuinely think it's because they were going into it expecting like a romance and only a romance. Like no, she had like shared her disability, which she would constantly get like migraines, like debilitating migraines, and like it was an unseen disability, so she shared like that aspect. She also shared her struggles with her daughter, who like she had her own little entrepreneurial thing. Also, she like shared how she was trying to heal from how her mother raised her and how differently she wanted to mother her daughter in comparison to her mom. Like there were so many deeper themes outside of the romance, which the romance was beautiful, but I feel like I just went into that book almost looking at it as a contemporary fiction. So I feel like if you go into this book looking at it as that, like the romance is almost like a happy addition, but expect to have like a full story of a woman and her life, and like all that comes with it. I feel like you'll enjoy this. Granted, I'm not super far into it, so maybe I won't like it, but I feel like so far I'm enjoying it with that perspective. Now, for the books that I picked up, I ended up getting this book right here, which I showed you guys in the store. It's called Meant for Me by Tay Marley. Literally what made me get this is because on the front it says surprising and heartfelt, an emotional roller coaster that you won't be able to put down. And Brittany Cherry said that. So if Brittany Cherry says it, I'm literally bringing it home. I almost thought about bringing home Say You Swear because it has a new like cover, but part of me was like, why would I bring that home when I haven't even been gravitating towards like reading the older copy? And maybe part of it is because it's like very, like the older copy is very like stiff. So maybe I would enjoy the new copy, but I don't know. I got this and I'm really excited to read it because this author was a Wattpad YA hit. She wrote the QB Bad Boy and Me, and it was actually turned into a movie. So I'm interested to see how this book is written and how like, you know, it's good. But I just know that Brittany Cherry, her writing is usually like quick, to the point. There's usually lots of little side plots, and those are the types of books that I enjoy when I go into like a fluffy little romance. Well, not fluffy, but like just a romance in general. So yeah, really enjoyed this, or enjoyed that I picked that up. And then I also picked up Addicted to You by Kristen Becker Ritchie. Now, you guys know I put this into a Free Little Library. And I think I've only bought one book that I put into Free Little Library. I bought Yellowface by R.F. Kuang because, and I bought Black Cake. because Kalila said that they're so good, and she was like, you have to like read those. I put them in a free library, and I was like, you know what, let me buy them and put them on my bookshelf because I've heard that they're so great, and she like couldn't stop talking about them. I haven't bought any other books that I gave away. I think I gave away like over 100 books. So, or maybe it was like 80 or 89 or something. It was pretty close. And you guys kept saying that this book is so good and the series is so good, and you're literally screaming at me like, if you like reading like Binding 13, you will love this series. So I'm like, you know what? Let me pick it up. And this says, she's addicted to sex, he's addicted to booze. The only way out is rock bottom. Now, I think the person who said if you like Binding 13, you'll like this, I hope you're right, because I feel like Binding 13, at least from what I've read so far, is not wildly spicy. And I think the thing that really kept me from wanting to read this series is because, like, she's addicted to sex, so like, in my head I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna be having sex the entire book, and like, I just don't, you know, like, I enjoy spice, but like, it's just not too much, you know, like, not too much. Like, if I wanted to read erotica, I would go pick up an erotica book. Hi baby, hi baby boy. But this says, no one would suspect shy Lily Calloway's biggest secret. While everyone is dancing at college bars, Lily stays in the bathroom to get laid. Her compulsion leads her to one-night stands, steamy hookups, and events she shamefully regrets. The only person who knows her secret happens to be one of his own. Lauren Hale's best friend is his bottle of bourbon. Lily comes as a close second. For 3 years, they've pretended to be in a real relationship, hiding their addictions from their families. They've mastered the art of concealing flasks and random guys who filter in and out of their apartment. But as they sink beneath the weight of their addictions, they cling harder to their destructive relationship and wonder if life together for real is better than a lie. Strangers and family begin to infiltrate their guarded lives, and with new challenges, they realize they may not be addicted to just alcohol and sex. Their real vice may be each other. So I hope that this is a good one. You guys recommended it to me, so if it's not, I'm blaming it on you. And that is all for this video. I feel like this whole, like, trip to St. Louis and the bookstore and everything was literally everything that I needed and more. It's really encouraged me to have an event with you guys. Comment below if you guys would want that. I feel like it would be a great way to make friends, to talk about the books that we love, and it would just be so fun. So make sure you subscribe and comment below if you guys would love in a little event, or if you liked watching this, or if you've been to a book signing, let me know your experience. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.